Danny, how you doing, man?
You got a friend in me.
The song from Toy Story.
Yeah, that one.
That one, yeah.
The one that everyone knows. You know the one I mean. Everyone knows.
I do, yeah. Although I will say, I think Toy Story has perhaps the worst music of any Pixar film.
Really?
Yeah? Have you not heard the Monsters, Inc. theme? Bop. What about The Incredibles? All the music from The Incredibles 1 and 2 is a bop. Just one long bop.
Oh shit! What's the Monsters Inc. one? Is it like? Oh,
hang on. Give me a second. Monsters. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm playing it on my headphones now.
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah,
That's the one. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I hope that 8 seconds won't stop this video from being demonetized. But you know,
Yep. Ruined.
Fucked. We're fucked now. So anyway, Dan, what have you been up to in the last week? We got some wheeler bullshit nonsense, or
I do. Yes.
oh, go on, spin that wheel.
Right. Okay. Oh fuck.
It's a destructive wheel today.
Yeah. Right.
What the fuck are you doing?
Here we go. My diet's over!
Yay! The diet's over. How you feeling? How much have you lost? What, are you the biggest loser?
I've lost a stone.
Okay, I don't know how much. Let me just convert that into proper money.
Money? What?
One stone in kilos. That is 6.5 kilos. Wow, that's good. Go you. I'm very proud. That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's very cool.
It only cost.
So what?
It only cost my entire social life and a good deal of my sanity, but I did it. I lost a stone.
So what have you? What's your first non-diet breakfast been?
I haven't had it yet.
Well, what the fuck are you doing with yourself? Day after a diet, I would be up at the crack of dawn, like frying eggs and making waffles.
Yeah, but you don't want to, because you don't want to ruin it, do you? You know, you don't want to, because you.
No, I reckon you could allow yourself 1 or 2 days of celebratory gorging and then go to a sensible diet.
I don't know.
Well, it's somewhere between waffles for breakfast every day and nothing. What's that thing that I made you? I made you a shot of espresso for breakfast because you were like, "Oh yeah, can I just have a tiny bit of instant coffee for breakfast?" I was like, "No, you can't. Nobody comes to my house and drinks instant coffee, but you can have an espresso."
I find it very.
And I just saw you drinking it, going, "Oh fucking hell!"
I find it very distressing that you used a sort of lad voice to describe me wanting a tiny espresso with my breakfast, because that's a really lad thing to do. Oh, can I have a tiny espresso with breakfast?
A tiny cup of coffee. Yeah. lads. Tiny cup of coffee. Espresso and lads don't particularly go together, do you think?
No, they don't. Because I'm pretty sure that anyone that says lads would pronounce it espresso.
Probably, yeah, maybe.
Can I have an espresso? And then David Mitchell appears with a gun and shoots him and goes, "It's pronounced espresso."
I like to imagine it's not like a gun, like a handgun or something. It's like a blunderbuss.
Yeah.
The 1850s. And he's just picking up handfuls of spare change and shoveling it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine that's what David Mitchell uses to shoot pheasants.
And our acronym is HHH. What was our acronym again? HHH. Thought so. And he takes a gun, shoots him. It's pronounced H, not H. H.
Oh, that reminds me of one of my favourite sort of wordplay jokes. Is in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they get a new captain, and he steps out of the elevator, and he steps into the bullpen, and he says, "There's only one thing you need to know about me. My motto: efficiency, efficiency, efficiency." I think that's really good. Oh god.
Ironically, you lose a lot of efficiency by wasting time to tell everyone that you're efficient.
Precisely, yes. Just sprint through the bullpen. Everybody get back to work, and then just sit down at your desk. Everybody work.
Yeah, work now, talk later.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I've got a very exciting Wednesday coming up. Are you ready for this, Dan?
Go on then.
It's a thriller. Right. Okay, this is it's not a long story. It's a meandering story, but it's not a long story.
Uh-huh.
Are you aware of the YouTube creator CGP Grey?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Well, I like his videos very much. I think they're interesting. I think I enjoy his animation style and all that nonsense. But he made a video called Weekend Wednesday, in which it posits the theory of, if you're somebody who's self-employed, or you're a student who can move classes around, or whatever it might be, take a day off in the middle of the week, and then move your Wednesday to another day. So, like, be it Saturday or Sunday, or work a 4-day work week, which is like another one of the... It's like a thing that they do in all those Northern European countries where they've got healthcare spot on, and they've had it spot on for, like, centuries.
Yeah.
It's one of them things. So I'm thinking, I'm self-employed, so I'm going to work longer days and give myself a 4-day work week, which I'm very thrilled about.
Right.
And on Wednesday this week, I am removing some cupboards from my house. It's about as thrilling as it sounds.
Okay. And you're counting that as work, or as...
No, that's Weekend Wednesday. I'm going to get a hammer out and start smashing up some cupboards.
It's good, because I was just going to say, you can't fucking put a skip for hire on your expenses.
Yeah, if I'm saying Weekend Wednesday, I can't... Yeah. I mean, yet again, Danny is confounded with the concept of a skip.
No, I understand it. I just think it's ridiculous.
The thing is, we've got a Toyota Aygo. Can you imagine how many trips to and from the tip you would need to get a wardrobe? We can't fit a wardrobe in the car. It would have to be smashed up.
Lewis, it's the natural order of things that you suffer when you take things to the dump. This skip nonsense.
Why suffer if you can avoid it?
This skip nonsense breaks tradition, and I will not have it.
Famously, you are staunchly pro-tradition,
yeah. Anti-skip.
Yes. And of course, here we see Daniel Kerr, famous anti-skip representative of the SNP, taking the floor to discuss his latest proposal that skips be outlawed in the United Kingdom.
Fuck's sake. This week...
You know what I think? I think we should get rid of skips. Fuck them. We don't need them.
All you hear is... doodly doodly. This week we're in Glasgow, and we are joined by Nicola Sturgeon of the SNP, some other people, a journalist, an actor for some fucking reason, and the leader of the anti-skip party, Daniel Kerr. What's the question time theme? I don't know.
I have no idea. I can imagine you being in PMQs, and like every single PMQ is you standing up from a different place in the different place in the chamber somehow. They're saying, so when are we going to outlaw skips? When are we outlawing skips?
Order! No! Get his skips to fuck, man!
I can imagine the speaker being furious at you. He's just trying to remodel his kitchen. get the old kitchen into a skip, and you're going, we should outlaw skips. And he's going, order.
Protesting outside his house.
Yeah.
It's massive house.
It's just you on your own.
Yep. Get rid of that skip you've got. Fuck's sake.
You're an impartial speaker because you're using a skip when I specifically think we should get rid of them.
Aye, so much for the impartial speaker, but he uses skips, folks. Ooh. Fuck's sake.
Well, you can rest assured I do not have a skip. I just have a screwdriver and some fury, which you can take out by removing the cupboards. You've been to my house. There's like this set of built-in wardrobes in my bedroom, and every night Chloe and I will go to sleep under them and think, at some point in the night, that's going to fall off the wall and crush my skull. So I'm removing them for the sake of safety and also aesthetics, because they are not pretty in any way.
Yeah, fair enough.
What's not to love?
That's fair enough.
But don't worry, Dan. Not going to use a skip.
No, fuck the skips. I get the impression that people who listen to this podcast are just going to think of me as some sort of raving lunatic who just comes out with these nonsenses and then he says a word like nonsenses as well, just to nail the final nail in to the coffin that he's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, perfect. Of the two of us, though, which one is more of a lunatic? People who listen to the podcast regularly will know my sort of day job is as a freelance writer online, and I've been commissioned to do like a series of articles about different recipes and stuff. So I'm going to be like just stocking my fridge full of assorted stews for the next month.
Yeah.
Is that not the act of a lunatic to just have a freezer full of assorted different types of stew?
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I work for a garage when I'm not doing this, and it's possibly the worst job in existence.
What's the worst part of it?
Oh, just the crookedness of the owners. Just
Right.
I'm beginning to sympathise more with communism every day.
Come to the dark side.
I'm wanting to stage a workers' revolt and
Seize the means of production.
seize the means of production. Yeah.
Yeah, you're there seizing. I don't know what they sell in this garage. Are you selling? What would the means of production be? Their spanners. You're seizing their spanners and their hammers.
No, listen. It's not a proper garage. It's a fucking BP sort of a shop garage where people just come and get fuel, and then they come in and then they buy maybe a sweet or something like that, and then they pay for the fuel and then they leave.
I see.
So it's literally it is possibly the most mind-numbing experience any human being could undertake. I spend most of my day shouting at Waynes to fuck off.
What? Waynes?
Waynes, children.
Waynes. Oh, okay.
Because for some reason, the garage is just some sort of social hub. And they come in, they get their juice, they get their sweets and all that, and then they sit outside. And look, there's an inordinate amount of them. A swarm of them. It's like, have you ever seen Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds?
I have, yeah.
It's like that. They're the birds. They're everywhere, and then I have to go out and shout at them like a lunatic. It's like, right, have you got your sweets? Have you got your juices? You got your crisps? Got all your wee knickknacks and all that? And they're like, aye, how? I was like, okay then, well fuck off. Go away. You're sitting outside a garage. Is there nowhere else you can go? I would never say, come on guys, let's go sit down at the garage and all that. We'll sit out and just... because they make a mess, right, Lewis? And I have to walk out with a fucking bin bag and a litter picker every single day and pick up their shite. So this is a warning. If I see you outside that garage again, you're fucked.
Surely the sensible thing to do in that situation would be to capitalise on the fact that there are a collection of weans outside the shop and just put up, like, I don't know, benches and stuff, and then, like,
What?
There's got to be some way to monetize a small group of children.
What?
If you were a business owner, if you owned this
I
garage...
don't own it. I'm a
No,
serf.
I'm not saying you do. I'm saying
I'm a wage slave that gets paid less than the proper minimum wage because of my age. Everyone else gets paid over the 21 age minimum wage, and because I'm less than 21, I get paid less. I am not in the mood to be helping these crooked millionaire bastards. They're multi-millionaires.
No, I'm sure they are.
Do you want to hear a really harrowing story, Lewis, that involves myself?
Go ahead, I would love to.
Okay, so this was at the start of I started working there near the end of January, I think.
Okay.
And I was there for like a couple of months, and it was shite, and but you know, it was a job, and then COVID hit, and my mum was in the hospital, and she got out, and like it was just an operation kind of thing, and I say that as it was just a quick operation, in and out, and but yeah, so I obviously couldn't go into work because I couldn't risk bringing anything home, and they then just sacked me.
Oh, don't get me started on this horrendous. It's this uber capitalism that we've somehow found ourselves in.
Yeah.
Is like, oh no, you can't come into work because of genuine health concerns. Well, then you're fired. What?
Yep.
What kind of a nonsense is that?
Yeah.
Oh, it infuriates me.
So I was let go, and then COVID sort of, it's still there obviously, but then it sort of calmed down a wee bit, and places were starting to open up, and they remained open throughout because they were a sort of key business or whatever.
Yeah.
And the people who could work just sort of stayed and just got through it. And then obviously I needed a job again, and it's literally just down the street, so it's very convenient. So I was like, okay, I'll just reapply, because they were very gracious enough to say, look, we're firing you now, but look, when COVID's over, you can always apply for your job again. I was like, oh, brilliant, cheers.
That's just disgusting. I hate that.
That is so generous of you, you fucking pigs. So I applied for it back, because it's too difficult to go.
Because I hate myself.
Yeah, it's too difficult to go anywhere else. So it's literally, I'd be mad not to. So and then a couple of weeks after I'd started back, I got into a tiff with the manager, and it was actually over coming down to see you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm on a 0-hour contract at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Which again is disgusting, and I hate it.
Yeah.
But yes.
So that's what's happening now. For those of you that don't know how a 0-hour contract works, I only have to give 2 days notice before I say, look, I'm not doing that day, or I'm off for that period of time, and I also have the right to refuse any shift that I want, and they are also allowed to say, we're not offering you any work this week. So it's but as shite as it is, I'm allowed to say, no, I can't do that, I'll do another one, and they're allowed to say, well, we're not giving you any work this week because we're packed. So I said, look, I can't do this weekend, and it became this whole big fucking thing. And despite the fact I was on a 0-hour contract, it was being treated as if I was on a set hour contract.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not on that. If you want to put me on that, then we can discuss that. But at the moment, I'm not. So I'm not going to, behave in the way that you want me to, because it just makes your life easier. And my manager said, are you working anywhere else? Is that it? And I was like, no. I'm asking for a fucking...
It's like asking, are you cheating on me?
Yeah, I'm asking...
Who's the other woman? Who is
I know! I'm asking for a fucking weekend off. And then he said, get this, folks, get this, right? Well, that... Okay then, but I do expect a certain amount of loyalty.
What?
I expect
How can you have somebody on a 0-hour contract, minimum wage, and say you expect loyalty? What kind of bollocks is
from
that?
the company that sacked me weeks before because my mum had just got out of the hospital. Yeah, big brain loyalty right there, folks. Now, I mean, I would lay my life on the... Fuck off, dick.
Okay, big brain.
So...
Oh, fuck me, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's pretty bad. But,
God, I think it's one of the reasons that I'm very, very lucky and very, very glad that I don't have like a direct boss. The fact that apart from the cat, but apart from that, I don't have like a direct boss. Like I'm glad I'm self-employed, mostly because then I can only get annoyed at myself.
Yeah.
I think if I was working on somewhere with like a 0-hour contract or something, I think I would just constantly be furious about the fact that was the situation I was in.
Yeah.
It just drives me insane.
I say don't tell the boss, but I'm the boss. That reminds me of that Lemmy quote. I'm sure I've said it before. If you have a cat, you'll often think, does the cat own you, or do you own the cat? It's you that owns the cat, you daft bastard.
No, sorry, I'm going to have to just have a bit of a rant. I like how this is just a forum for our grievances at this point.
It really is.
We're doing Toy Story. We're just a happy film.
Yeah.
And yet here we are just going, God, I had a really shit shift at work. Really shit.
I want to see the means of production so fucking hard.
But the thing that gets me about 0-hour contracts is it's literally just a thing designed entirely for the employer. There is essentially no rights for the employee in that thing. It's like, oh yeah, you get to refuse any shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they'll just fire you because you're so disposable.
Yeah.
It's as bad as Uber saying, no, our drivers are actually self-employed. We don't employ them. They're self-employed contractors working for us. because that means they don't have to pay them a minimum wage. They don't have to pay.
Don't have to
Oh,
care.
I hate
Don't
it.
have to care about the pension or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know they can deduct from our wages as well.
Fuck me, really?
Yeah, if you do a till or something like that and your till's down, they'll take that off you. But if your till's up, they won't give you it back.
Fuck me, that's just disgusting.
So these multi-millionaires who will have more money than I ever will have the fucking nerve to pay us all on minimum wage and then deduct from our wages at the end of the month as well. So
it's yeah. I mean, I just hate that so much.
Lewis, the first opportunity I get to join my comrades and overthrow these bastards, trust me, I will. I will take it.
I'll mail you a copy of the Communist Manifesto.
Oh, I fucking got it, mate. Don't you worry. don't you worry. I've got it right here. I do actually have it because I wanted to read it, so I've got it. Don't send me it.
No, well, I don't. What's the irony of that?
Do you not have it?
No, I don't have
You should
one.
get one and give it a read. You probably imagine it just completely turns you off. You're like, oh, what a lot of shit.
Chloe will just come home from work one day to find me like wearing all red and just be like, I love communism. Oh god.
Fucking hell. Well, I think we've complained for far too long now.
I think we have, yeah. We're 20 minutes in. We haven't even talked about the film
I
yet.
know, fucking hell. The films, Lewis, the films.
Oh, fuck, guys.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
Okay, so, right. 10-minute bullshit, 20-minute bullshit, done. Right, what films are we doing this week, Lewis?
Toy Story 1 and 2.
Yes, I'll start with the first one. It was written by Josh Whedon, who's a very famous writer/director, and Joel Cohen. There were some other people, but I'm not writing them down because we don't have time. Okay, and it was directed by John Lasseter, and it is starring Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Don Rickles, Jim Varney, and Annie Potts. Okay.
What about the second one? Let's do them all at
The
once.
second one was written...
Let's make it really confusing for everyone.
The second one was written by Andrew Stanton and Chris Webb and some other people, but I'm not writing them down for obvious reasons. And it was also directed again by John Lasseter, and it is starring Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, Don Rickles, John Ratzinger, and Wallace Shawn.
Perfect. That was flawless. I could not complain once.
Fucking flawless.
Do you have a joint opening statement?
I do.
Or any kind of other kind of statement?
I just have one opening
Do you want to
statement.
complain some more about 0 Hour contracts?
No, we'll save that for next week. I have one opening statement for both films.
Go ahead.
Okay, I thought you were confused. What? Only one for each. Two incredibly heartwarming and simultaneously heartbreaking films about possibly the most tragic form of life ever created. Stories about the passing of time and growing up.
I love Pixar. I was just going to leave it at that, but I thought that might be a bit intense. These are not my favourite Pixar films, but they are absolutely superb nonetheless. Like you said, they are heartwarming. They are heartbreaking. It's when you start to think about it, it is slightly horrific. What are the implications of a universe in which Toy Story is the case?
Yeah.
But it is heartwarming to see these nice happy endings so regularly.
Yeah, I agree.
Have you got any CRQs, CRSs, CR, any other kind of Cs?
Yeah, I do.
Or Rs?
I do.
I bet you fucking do, don't you?
You fuck. The toys sort of act both as like children and parents at the same time. Like they're, on the one hand, they're solely dependent on Andy to sort of give them life, and actually, like, that's a whole other kettle of fish that I'll get into later on. But they're just sort of there to be played with, but also at the same time they see themselves as like the carers of a child as well, which is a sort of strange dichotomy. So it's almost like about parents losing their kids and also children outgrowing their parents at the same time. So it's a good sort of balance, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. I have some more technical questions.
Oh, right, okay.
When Woody speaks, I'm using Woody as an example because there are obviously they all speak, but like he has a voice box type thing. You pull the cord, he speaks.
Yeah.
When he speaks, does his voice come from his mouth or from the voice box thing? As in, when he's alive and there's no humans in the room and he springs to life, does his speaking voice, does it come from the box or his mouth?
I think some sort of soul or something. I don't fucking know. I mean, it definitely doesn't come from the box, because the box has a sort of more sort of technical sounding, sort of radio sounding noise.
Reach for the sky.
It's almost like Ted. Have you ever seen, that it's like, I love you. That's just a program voice box, whereas Ted can somehow speak like other human beings without having teeth or a tongue. But yeah, I think.
Okay, I have another one.
Okay, go on.
How does it feel for a battery-operated toy to have its batteries replaced? Do they die for the period of time in which the batteries are out? Is it like a slow death, like a degenerative disease, as the batteries wear down? And then you put them back in, and it's like they've done speed?
I suppose it depends on the toy. Because there are toys that I would argue that you could still play with and have batteries in them. So maybe the batteries are almost like an accessory for some cases, but there are some toys that you just can't play with without batteries. So maybe that's like them dying, and maybe they just see it as like a surgery or something like that, or a transplant of some sort.
Yeah, maybe.
But
right, I'm sorry. I've got lots of vaguely terrifying questions. This is one about sort of the consequences of living in a Toy Story world.
Yeah.
It's in the second one. There's like a yard sale where she's selling a whole bunch of stuff, right?
Yep.
And right, regular yard sales for toys. It's like taking all your pets out into the front yard and then just saying, right, this dog, I don't want it anymore, and just throwing it over next door's fence. Do you know what I mean? It's like just routinely just saying, well, do I want all of these dogs? And then just getting rid of one.
Yeah.
It's kind of horrifying.
It goes even fucking more horrible than that. These toys live in a sort of competition-based society.
Yes, it's the most extreme. What's the word for it? Meritocracy.
Yeah, where Woody is on top, and he's one heartbreak away from becoming Lotso in the third film, and there are constant birthdays and Christmases, and they're constantly being feared for being replaced and just put in a shelf and then just eventually dumped. It's like it's absolutely horrible. And I've this is a bit of a funny one, but Wheezy. When did Wheezy get his name?
That's a good. It's like Scar from The Lion King.
Because he wasn't always Wheezy. So, who the fuck? What kind of sick bastard? I'm gonna call you Legless. What? Why? Why?
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's like naming your child Dead.
Oh,
Dead.
Jesus Christ.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it's a bit... Yeah, maybe it's not quite like...
No,
it's like naming your child Dead
going to be...
because I killed it.
Eventually, right?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I suppose.
So it's like naming your child after something inevitable.
Yeah. You know, I thought going into this, right, that these are really heartwarming films, and you know, they're really great and all that, and they're quite child friendly. But see, the more that I thought about it, it's the most horrifying set of films ever to exist. So basically, human beings are apathetic, winless gods who create these creatures. Because of Toy Story 4, we made that absolutely clear. Apparently, if you fucking use a fork as a toy, that just somehow bestows life upon it. And these poor, fearful, competition-driven creatures are passively submissive to the whims of these often amoral and just I don't care, it's only a toy, I'll just rip it apart. So it's like it's the most abjectly horrific experience that anyone could ever dream of living in.
Yeah, and it becomes even more horrific when you think about, well, what is the true definition of a toy? For example, like we had like this job fair thing in college, and there's this local sheet metal fabrication company that for some reason they thought, yeah, let's go and try to appeal to 17-year-olds and say we're a sheet metal fabrication company. But that's a conversation for another day. But they had these little sort of kits where they would hand you one and you would fold it and it becomes an elephant sort of pen holder thing.
Yeah.
And I have one here in front of me. Is that a toy?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, so is this elephant actually kind of alive?
Maybe it's...
Is that terrifying?
Maybe there's a point where human beings can't create toys in it. But then again, adults play with toys.
Yes.
Do you think sex toys come alive?
I remember... Well, that's the ultimate horror, isn't it? But like the
Oh my god! Whose turn is it next time? God, I can't do this! For fuck's sake.
Oh, for God's sake. I mean, yes, that's horrifying. But I would argue what's more horrifying would be a dog toy.
Yeah,
Because it exists especially to be ripped up by the dog immediately.
Yeah.
Being birthed into life. You get brought home from Pets at Home or whatever. Pets at Home, please give me a sponsorship. And you get brought home from Pets at Home, and then the dog immediately destroys you. You exist for 30 seconds at most.
Yeah, my dog is pretty good at destroying toys. But do you know, after I watched this film these films for the first time, I've kept my toys, in the sort of fear that they would just pine away and die, like if they weren't, together.
Completely.
And
what do you think my attic is full of?
Yeah, I imagine that they hold some sort of family now, and whenever I'm feeling low, I can just come out and just take my pain out in them.
Well, that's perfectly
just
normal.
break them in half, and yeah.
I have yet another concerning question.
Right.
Sid.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's not. I mean, that's less of a question, more of a statement. But
wait.
Sid.
Someone is knocking at my door. 2 seconds.
Bloody hell.
2 seconds, folks.
Honestly, the incredible unprofessionalism of this. If I had something delivered, like I did a few weeks ago, I would just... In fact, I'd probably do the exact same thing. I'm not even waiting on a parcel today. I had a parcel this morning. Got some box files. How fucking thrilling is that? You know me. Well, you don't know me. But I love stationery. So, if you have stationery, get in touch. I like stationery. If you are a stationery company, we're looking for sponsors. Get in touch. Are you Mr. Ryman? Didn't Theo Paphitis own Ryman for a bit? I'm pretty sure, like from Dragon's Den, that guy. Who owns Ryman? Ryman Group. Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
I'm back.
Yeah, it doesn't say. Oh, Danny's back. Hey, mate, I was talking about stationery while you were gone.
Right.
So everybody is turned off, so whatever you're about to say is pointless.
It's a parcel from eBay.
Oh, wonderful. What have you had?
I don't know yet.
Is it a toy?
Might be.
Is it alive? Is it Woody?
Yep, it's Woody, and I'm gonna give him my crazy psychotic next door neighbour. So, Jesus, lost a stone and I'm fucking out of breath from running up and down the stairs. Was it worth it? No. So, Sid.
Yes. As much as it's concerning that he is taking apart sort of action figures and teddy bears and Meccano type stuff, as much as that's concerning, he's not doing it with actual animals.
No.
Like, one of my favourite toys when I was a kid was Meccano, and I would, like, make trucks or cranes or whatever. That was something I enjoyed doing. So, from Sid's point of view, is he just being creative?
Well...
Is he just sort of thinking, well, what if I try and make this spider tank with a baby's head? Or whatever ridiculous thing it is.
I think it's a yes and no for me. Because on the one hand, he doesn't know that these toys are sentient. So we can't really know whether he would torture them if he knew that they were alive. But on the other hand, he stole his sister's doll, cut its head off, and strapped a a fucking a pterodactyl's head to it. So he may not be as horrible as a serial killer, but he definitely has some boundary issues and has a sort of sadistic sense of humour.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, he's all right, isn't he?
Other than that, he's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, he did try to blow up Buzz Lightyear, which is perhaps a bit concerning.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
If your child, how old is Sid? He's like 10 or something.
I don't. Yeah, it's fun. It's funny how when Buzz sees him, he's like, "You mean that happy child?" And he's just laughing maniacally. He's like, "Oh, that happy child. That ain't no happy child." But I think, I don't think he deserved the sort of mental scarring that he got.
Of Woody turning his head around like the Exorcist.
Yeah, and everything walking towards it. I don't think he deserved that.
Would he have gone to therapy, you think? Would Sid have gone to
I
therapy?
don't think anyone would have believed it. And maybe he's locked up in some sort of
Well,
sanatorium.
in the third one, he's a garbage man, isn't he? Because he's got that. There's that bin man who's got like he's holding a garbage bag, a garbage bag,
Garbage
and
bag.
he's wearing like the same T-shirt that Sid wears in the first movie.
Do you think that's
I
him?
mean, I think that's the theory is that people have. I think in reality, I'd imagine a T-shirt company had made several thousand of those T-shirts. So
It's not very thematically sort of linked, is it?
no, it's not really.
Be good.
Maybe it's just a nice nod to the first one then.
Maybe if he became like a sort of a toy shop owner or something like that, that would. I don't know.
Yeah, and he sits there at night with a knife clutched in his hand.
Yeah.
Just like, they're all going to come alive, they're all going to come alive.
Right. Okay. I'm about to.
I have to sit and watch them, I have to...
I'm about to take this to a very dark place. Okay.
Right.
So throughout the story, the toys are basically owned by a child, by a god of some sort, and they are branded. They're just like just like common, just like slaves. Their names, the company that owns them are written on their feet, and anything could happen to them, and the owner wouldn't give a shit. They just comes a point where Andy just really doesn't care anymore, and then the song "You've Got a Friend in Me" plays, and yet no one has thought about this, really. It's not addressed that the toys are essentially just owned things that while have sentience. It's like it's promoted in many cases, like, you are his toy, as if that's fucking a good thing. See, if I was a toy, I wouldn't want to be the possession of some fucking insane child that could.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I've seen this film several times. I'd never considered it. Yeah.
I mean, Lotso sort of makes the leap, but at the same time, he continues to get played by toys. So it's like, I would rather have, maybe set up a small community of toys that don't want to be owned, and maybe just sort of live underground or live in a sort of basement or something. Just create a sort of better society for my toy brothers and sisters and whatever's in between. I just think it's there's a better way of living rather than to the whims of these horrible children.
That is really horrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Because it's like yeah. The closest we have is, like, technically speaking, I own my cat.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say, oh yeah, I own a cat. I'd sort of say, oh yeah, we have a cat. Like, I don't consider her a possession. She's just someone that I hang out with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's just someone that sits on the sofa and glares at me when I sneeze.
Yeah.
Like, but then if my cat had the sort of human intelligence that these toys have, and that becomes even more horrific, because yeah, she is microchipped as well. So is it essentially is Andy writing Andy on a foot? Is that almost like microchipping, but they have human level intelligence?
Yeah.
That's horrific.
And they're moral creatures as well, because they understand, like, what harms them and what harms other people, and they care for their their captors very, very much. So, do you think the toys should maybe get like a Karl Marx or something like that, and let's stage a revolution? Revolution! Because there are more toys than there are people, surely.
Yeah, surely.
So they would outnumber
then
us.
That does beg the question, like, toys don't need to breathe or eat or sleep.
Nope. They would be...
Is the Toy Story universe seconds away from...
They would be awake all the time.
A bloody revolution.
Yeah. They wouldn't have... They wouldn't... An army that could repair itself and never die, really.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. Like, there's that whole thing about how plastic... You throw, like, you throw away a plastic coffee cup or something, and it stays in existence for 10,000 years. It's like, yeah, okay. Is Buzz Lightyear going to live for 10,000 years then?
Yeah, I mean...
Because he's made out of plastic. Woody's made out of, like, fabric, isn't he? So I can see him maybe biodegrading.
Yeah.
But, like, his boots are plastic, his hat is plastic.
No,
so,
yeah.
Oh, God. This is really horrific.
Yeah.
It's become such a psychological horror when you start to consider it.
Yeah, and... but that sort of begs the question, I was going to save this for Toy Story 3 and 4, but it's too big to sort of ignore. When does a toy become a toy, and when does it stop becoming a toy? Does it just remain a toy forever and just hopelessly search for someone to play with it after its owner gets bored with it? That's pretty fucking horrible. So this child just plays with this fork that was just doing nothing and wasn't intended to be alive, and then this cruel, callous creator just comes along. Oh, look what I made. And then this fork is doomed forever to just be, constantly being run over or I'm a fork. Why would you thrust life upon me? I don't want life. It's so fucking horrible.
It is horrific, yeah.
And why has this not been addressed? Because the Toy Story films understand the sort of heartbreak that comes along with being a toy.
Yeah.
And there's these great emotional scenes.
There'll always be another birthday. There'll always be another Christmas.
Yeah, and
that constant existential terror.
Yeah, we and especially with Jessie in Toy Story 2 when that beautiful song plays and her child Emily sort of abandons her. So they understand how the implications of being a toy, but don't go that one step further to realise that the entire system is fucked for these poor creatures who are just constantly who have based their entire identity on this creator, and then the creator just gets bored with them and abandons them, and then they're just left to wander to find something. That's horrific.
It is horrific. You're completely right.
It would be like a person finding out that God's real, and then to find out that God just doesn't give a shit about you, and then he just leaves, and it's like their entire life has been devoted to this being, and they've just basically shown no real care for them, and discarded that. That is fucking horrific.
This has not been a happy episode of the podcast.
No. I mean, leave it to us to fuck up a happy childhood film.
We'll have to do some nice happy Pixar films after we've got through Toy Story.
There are none, Lewis.
What about The Incredibles? That's a happy film.
Yeah, but it also talks about how no one is special.
Okay, but number one, that's kind of bollocks because right. You have to watch The Incredibles, so if you haven't, maybe skip forward a couple minutes. But the idea of if everyone is special, no one is, that is inherently flawed, because the specialness that Syndrome is describing is these products he's got. So it's like saying, oh, well, if everybody can fly, then no one can. No, they can, though. Can't you see them zipping through the sky? If everybody can lift up objects with their minds, then no one can. Yeah, but they can, though. No. I understand he's making a point about the commodification of exceptionalism, but on the same level, it is still exceptional. But I don't find watching the TV exceptional, but somebody who's never seen one before, if you teleported a Victorian to modern day times and they saw a television, they'd be bamboozled by it. But that doesn't make it objectively boring. It doesn't make it objectively a commodity. You know what I mean?
I think it's to do with his sort of like warped personality as well. But I don't think he's saying that. Oh, if everyone can fly, no one can fly. Like, because that's just wrong. But I think what he's saying is that if everyone can do what people think is so special and so out there, then it's no longer got the same mystique or same sort of value as it did before, because now everyone can just do it, and it means really not all that much.
Yeah, I get that, but my point is that the point that he's arguing is that by making something very normal, it ruins its objective exceptionalism. It ruins sort of its objective, how impressive it is that something like that can happen.
I mean, I think
you take a step back and say pineapple as a concept is fairly pedestrian nowadays.
Yeah.
But, like, it still is kind of amazing that it comes from... Well, I don't even know where pineapples are grown. But they grow pineapples there, and then it gets, like, frozen and then shipped to my house. I don't even have to leave the house to get something to travel thousands of miles to come live in my fridge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't change the objective concept of something.
I mean, I suppose it depends on your outlook. I mean, Syndrome is a very sort of childish egotist who probably wouldn't be able to appreciate the sort of like, I mean, look what we've done throughout history. Look where we are. It's amazing what we've done. I think he just sort of sees, you know, oh, everyone's got phones. Everyone just just takes it for granted. It's not special anymore because it's someone else has to come up with something for it to be special. Everything else is just old, and you can't appreciate the nuance of it or the achievement of it anymore because it's already been done, which is quite a sort of childish, megalomaniacal way of looking at things. But I'll find a problem with it, Lewis. I'm sure you will.
I am sure you will.
I'll find a dark undercurrent that is obviously there that no one seems to address. But yeah, Pixar. I've got to say, Pixar movies are the best at sort of exploring existentialism in a sort of family-friendly sort of way. I mean, fucking opening scene of Up has me in tears every time I watch it.
I've only seen Up once because I refused to see it again.
Yeah, I mean, oh, holy shit. And the end of fucking Monsters, Inc. When she goes to the closet and opens it and she's like, boo! And then that little kitty. Fucking hell. If I had a heart, it would be hurting. But, yes.
Well, would you like to hear a slightly lighter note?
Yeah, go on.
Well, basically, when I was in year 7, just starting high school, I joined high school and I was very enthusiastic about science. I was doing loads of science work. I'd go to my teachers and like talk to them and stuff, and I did like extracurricular like school clubs and stuff. And in my last class, A-level chemistry class, which was with the same science teacher that I had in the first year of high school, he told me that throughout the duration of my tenure as a student at this school, this science teacher and another science teacher had referred to me as one of the little green aliens from Toy Story. Because I was so, as an 11-year-old child, I was so enthralled and so like, wow, that's amazing. That had just seemed like, oh yep, that's what he is, and that had just stuck. So if they were referring to me by any particular name, that would be that.
Wow, I mean that's pretty cruel.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I just thought it was cute. I thought it was funny.
You remind me of the really sort of single-minded, stupid aliens that are obsessed with claws that can't tell the difference between a crane and a godlike claw and get picked to their death by their, you know, Lord and Saviour. Yeah, great. What a compliment that is. Fuck's sake. You can't do it, Lewis. You can't get me to appreciate this kind of shit. Oh, man.
Okay, well, in that case, I have another technical question.
Right, go on then.
Are board games alive?
Oh, shit.
And if so, what happens if a piece gets removed from the board game?
Yeah, I mean...
If you've got little I don't know, like the Monopoly board, if the top hat gets separated, what then?
Maybe it just I don't see. These are questions that should be answered, Lewis. These are it's great concepts like this, but they don't get explored to the fullest extent. Instead, they do Toy Story 4, where it's like yeah, it was good, but was it necessary? You know?
No.
Unless the arc of the toys was to finally accept, look, if we stay with an owner, we're just going to end up getting heartbroken. Let's just go off on our own and, live as free creatures, as free moral beings, rather than getting our hearts broken once in every 10 years or something like that. Like, if that's what the arc was, and they finally sort of became sort of independent of their owners, then that would be great. And they sort of touch on that with Woody and Bo living in the big arcade thing. But other than... What was I saying?
Was Toy Story 4 necessary?
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was.
No, I don't entirely think it was either. But I appreciate what you said about how there are lots of good concepts in Pixar films that have to go deliberately unexplored. Like, if they delve too deep into these things, it just becomes like an encyclopedia of Pixar films.
Yeah.
But, like, a great example is the cars from Pixar's Cars are essentially, they're cars and they're alive.
Yeah.
And that was the Pixar idea. And where do we go with that? What does that mean? And then you start considering it and you think, none of these things actually make any sense. My current favourite... There are two big theories. My current favourite is that they are actually insects.
Right.
Have you heard this?
No.
Okay, well, essentially, the idea is that they're insects. Because, like, we see the little sort of VW beetles, but they take the place of actual beetles. And that they have wings and they're flying around this little lamp and they're bonking into it and all this sort of stuff. And then they talk about, like, this. I think this is a film theory, that YouTube channel. I think that's where I got this. And they talk about the idea that the actual makeup of these cars, what's inside them. Because we see they have engines. Like, every now and then we might see an engine, or like Meta's engine we see on the wreck.
Yeah.
But, like, there was, like, an interview, I think, with one of the animators or a writer or something. And somebody asked him, well, what would happen if you open Lightning McQueen's doors? What's inside?
Yeah.
And the guy went, well, that's where all his brains and stuff are.
Oh my god.
The current idea is that the sort of idea is that they're actually insects, and the outside, the metal sort of shell, is like the carapace of a beetle.
Oh my god.
And that, so, like, the eyes, that's not a windscreen, that is just eyes. And then they are like a squishy insect inside of that hard outer shell.
I mean, what, the intelligent beetles that have learned how to sort of create shells around themselves?
Well, current non-intelligent beetles can form shells around
but
themselves.
not with fucking metal and fucking engines and shit.
I suppose they must be intelligent beetles then. They sort of have developed intelligence as time's gone on and they've got bigger. And,
yeah.
Because, like, what's that? Was it Ramon? He like, paints Lightning McQueen and things like that?
Yeah, that's true, I suppose.
And so the tyres must be like shoes. The wheels are feet and the tyres are like shoes.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. Yeah, beetles just... Their natural progression in their life cycle is to eventually learn how to fucking build...
Eventually become a car. Yeah.
Brilliant.
But the other theory is part of this united Pixar theory. Have you heard of this?
Nope, I haven't.
Oh, well, you are in for
Here
this.
we go. Here we go.
Pixar theory. It is a book written by John Negroni. However, it doesn't really need to be written in a book. It can be written on a website. So here we go. Come on, wake up. Right. Basically, there are so many Pixar films. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Pixar films when this theory was concocted.
Right.
And the films since then do seem to fit in, thankfully, which is good. And the idea is that if you put them all in chronological order, a sort of clear technological timescale happens.
Yeah.
So the first one is Brave, which happens in, like, 14th century Scotland. And Merida sort of discovers the will-o'-the-wisps, which are like these magics, and she figures out that there's a witch. Right, okay, I'm just going to read this. The magic turns her mother into a bear. The magic is why animals and inanimate objects, brooms and tools, behave like humans. Magic was utilized by a witch who mysteriously vanishes through, wait for it, wooden doors.
Oh, shit.
eventually the magic from Will-o'-the-Wisps would lead to the birth of superheroes. The idea is that the magic that is just present in the world... Hang on, let me just click this. Superheroes maintained the order of the world, but Buddy, a wannabe superhero, created AI. The high-tech zero-point energy is this is the pivotal moment where we see machines eradicating their only threat, superheroes. Eventually, toys start to absorb the zero-point energy, unseen energy that travels in wavelengths. The idea is that the Will-o'-the-Wisps from Brave are just a thing in the world which influences the genetics of superheroes to give them powers.
Right. Okay.
And then Syndrome develops this zero-point energy, and it sort of empowers toys and machines and stuff. And so we see the machines try to start destroying the superheroes. Then in Toy Story, the first signs of life from toys that have this zero-point energy are now present due to Syndrome's technological prowess. Toys, sentient objects, come up with a code of rules and learn that human love is another energy source upon which they thrive. The toys discover what happens to toys that are isolated from humans. In Toy Story 2, toys discover it's dangerous for them to be isolated from humans. We start to see inanimate objects question their purpose in life. For example, Jessie resents her owner Emily for abandoning her. Resentment towards humans was not only carried by inanimate objects, but animals as well. And then Finding Nemo.
Oh, fuck.
It all fits. In the ocean, we find that fish are incredibly advanced. They have schools, a network, and a freeway system. Discover that humans are polluting the earth and experimenting on them. Dory is one of the animals that was experimented on, which is why she is forgetful.
Oh my god. Okay.
There are signs of resentment growing towards humans for polluting the environment, stealing fish, and caging them. Animals begin to be more curious and carry more humanistic characteristics. And then in Ratatouille, which is actually my favourite Pixar film, I really love Ratatouille.
Uh-huh.
Let's do a Ratatouille episode. I fucking love it. In Ratatouille, Remy discovers his love for cooking and displays human characteristics. He walks in his hind paws, he cleans his hands, he reads, he cooks, he speaks and has open conversation with human beings, essentially. The first time we see personal interaction between humans and animals, but it is for the purpose of controlling humans. Remy controls Linguini because Linguini does not know how to do anything. We see that Remy's rat gland does not approve of humans and both feels fear and hate towards them.
Right, yep.
And then, chronologically, the next one, Toy Story 3. Toys have gone through a lot with humans. If you've seen the movie, you can tell where most of the toys have had it. They're being abused physically and emotionally, like 24/7. Lotso straight up hates humans because they use and discard toy objects like they're nothing. He starts trying to take care of his own kind. This provides yet another reason why machines and objects alike are ready to take over.
Right.
Carl and Ellie write to Andy, telling him to get rid of his toys. Hang on. Carl and Ellie from Up, apparently, write to Andy telling him to get rid of his toys.
What?
The animosity between toys and humans coming ahead.
No!
And that's why they are planning on living in solitude.
Bollocks!
And then, in Up, Carl is forced to give up his house to a corporation, B&L, because they are expanding the city. This is foreshadowing. This corporation is the cause for polluting the earth and wiping out life in the distant future as a result of technology overreach. Carl discovers that animals can communicate with humans and sees the bitterness that they have. Charles Muntz effectively trains an army of dogs. This is the start of the tipping point between animals and humans. Okay, it's starting to lose me now. Years later, the
just now
animals and humans begins. Who do you think won that war? Right, we haven't hit an hour yet. I'm going to keep going. In Cars, animals rose up against the humans to stop the pollution. The machines saved the humans, and they won the war. However, since machines helped humans win, it tipped the balance on Earth. Machines, and by and large, had to send the remaining humans off into space on a ship called the Axiom. All of the other machines were left behind to populate the world and run things. But Cars took over the Earth, and the humans were launched in the events of WALL-E.
Right.
In Cars 2, Cars go to Europe and Japan, which shows that it's all the same planet as all the other Pixar movies. It also shows there are no humans throughout the world. The world at this time ends up with an energy crisis, as oil is the only energy used for cars. Alan Oil Corporation was using green energy as a catalyst for a fuel war in order to turn cars away from alternative energy sources. The clean fuel could have been used to swiftly wipe out and decommission many of the cars. Alan Oil was run by B&L, which eventually polluted the whole Earth due to its use of oil. The whole world becomes unfit to sustain life. And then we see the events of WALL-E.
Oh my god. So is WALL-E the most recent chapter then?
There are 3 more afterwards. Bear with.
Fuck.
Earth has become uninhabitable for hundreds of years due to B&L. Corporation took over the world, starting in the 1950s with the Incredibles and stuff. WALL-E is the only machine left on Earth. All the other cars and stuff have died. Cars, planes, trains, all that stuff have died. The world has run out of resources to sort of power machines. WALL-E is the only one left. He survived because he is fascinated with human culture, also his friendship with a cockroach, which helped maintain his personality and fulfillment. Robots and Machines on Axiom, having left Earth centuries earlier, show that machines develop a sense of purpose out of the human's dependence on them. Wall-E is a robot Jesus, and he and his love, the appropriately named Eve, save the human race and start a new beginning on Earth again.
Right.
During the credits of Wall-E, we see the shoe that contains the last of plant life. It grows into a mighty tree.
Right.
And then there is A Bug's Life, which happens in, get ready for this, the year 3000.
Fuck's sake!
The same plant we see in Wall-E grows to be the tree in A Bug's Life. Insects have a longer lifespan in A Bug's Life. Prior to Wall-E, an ant can just last 3 months. However, in A Bug's Life, these ants all survive an entire summer and allude to being around for quite some time. One ant states he feels 90 again. This indicates that ants are sturdier as a result of evolution and mutated genes. Another ant tells Flick not to leave the island because there are snakes, birds, and bigger bugs out there. They do not mention humans, because there are very few humans to make it dangerous enough for insects to worry about.
Right.
However, one kid did allegedly pick the wings off of the homeless bug. Later in the distant future, animals start evolving into the dominant species. And then, Monsters University.
Shit.
Hundreds of years after Wall-E, animals started changing due to radiation caused by BNL. These animals evolved into monsters and accidentally wipe humans off the face of the planet.
Accidentally?
Apparently so.
Right.
Monsters University was founded in 1313. This is dated using the monsters calendar, not the human calendar, and it shows that it took place almost 1400 years after A Bug's Life. And Monsters U, they falsely taught the monsters that humans were toxic and from another dimension. This was because monsters were worried about being erased from existence and altering history. And then the final chapter, thank God, is Monsters Inc.
Right.
Monsters and Machines didn't realise the mistake of getting rid of humans until it was too late. They eventually realised that humans were their source of energy and they needed to sustain life. Machines help solve that by letting monsters use doors to time travel to the human generations. This leads us to Boo. Oh my god, there's fucking more.
Wait, no. That makes no sense. Or is it fucking endgame logic where you fucking do something in the past and somehow a new timeline is created and it doesn't affect the future?
I think it might be, I've no idea. But Boo never got over Sully and became obsessed with finding out what happened to him. She remembers the doors are key to finding Sully. Later on in life, she figured out how to time travel using the wooden doors, goes back to the source of all magic, the Will-o'-the-Wisps, and creates magic to find Sully by using wood. Boo leaves evidence behind in Brave, 2 carvings whittled out of wood. There was Sully and a pizza truck, the 2 things she loves most in life. Although she knows how to travel through time, she does not know how to determine what time period she will go to. Therefore, speculation has it that Boo is the one planting the Easter eggs throughout all the Pixar movies because she has been accidentally going to different time periods. So that's the idea, is that it's all united in one.
Yeah. Or maybe they're just good kids films.
They might be. Who knows?
No, I know.
Like the Pixar theory.
I know. See if whoever is responsible for Pixar comes out and says that that's true, fuck you. So there you go. That's my position on it. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
So the point I was making was the cars.
All the characters in that
insects.
film. All the characters in that film, they're not characters. They're just fucking chess pieces that are just shoved into bits that they don't fit to sort of do this ridiculous theory. It's like square pegs going into round holes or something like that. It's like, yeah, Carl and Ellie warn Andy about his toys, despite never having seen Andy in the film, but they did. Just trust me on it. Fuck off.
No, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of flaws to the theory, but I do enjoy it. I just wanted to share it with you because I thought it's so absurd. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the cars in Cars are either insects or hyper-intelligent, AI-driven, zero-point energy machines.
Fucking hell.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think I do.
Well, I think I have run out of notes anyway, now that I've described the entire Pixar theory laboriously and everybody's turned off.
Yeah, I think I've run out as well. Just before we go to closing statements, if you've made it this far into the podcast, we commend you. You'll probably notice that there are no intergalactic dream teams this week. You had your opportunity, patrons. We told you, so now it's gone. Let's have a moment of silence for it. That was quick. Okay, so let's do our closing statements. Lewis, would you like to go first?
I would love to. The Toy Story films deal so well with this concept of existentialism in a world where there's always going to be another birthday, there's always going to be another Christmas, there's always going to be another toy-based event. They are horrifying in the best way possible while also being heartwarming. Yeah. I absolutely love them.
No, excellent. I've changed my mind from my opening statement. These films are dark as fuck and promote the idea of ownership and branding. We follow the story of plastic slaves whose entire identity is derived from their god, hoping that they don't get discarded like last night's Boona.
What about last night's not Boona? Does it have to be a Boona?
No, it's just an expression. I didn't have Boona last night. I had chicken and all that.
Oh yeah, of course. Last day you die.
Yep.
You can treat yourself to a Boona tonight.
I might do. I don't know. I could have anything.
Anything you want.
Anything at all, apart from a decent job. But
well, that is somehow we've reached the end of this episode. After laborious discussion of all the Pixar films, we've reached the end.
Yes. Time for some good old shilling.
Indeed, hit me with it.
We are on Instagram. Well, no, I am. Don't know. Well, we both are, but I am gonna do mine first. I fucked it. I'm on Instagram at O'Hiram. I'm on Facebook at Daniel K Actor. I'm on Twitter at Kerzo2000. What are you on, Lewis?
I am on Instagram at Lewis_Brindley. I'm on Twitter at LewisBrindley4. And I have a Facebook page too called Lewis Brindley.
Yes. We are on Podomatic. We're on Spotify.
That was very Stewie, that voice was.
Yes.
He has a Facebook page called Lewis Brindley.
We are on...
His Facebook page called Lewis Brindley. It's time for a sexy party.
We are on Podomatic, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We've got a YouTube channel, Cool Whip.
What the hell is this?
What?
Nothing, that's one of my favourite Stewie things is when he meets the Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh yeah, shit.
It's like goes to that Q&A. Remember, a dry sponge is a happy sponge. What the fuck is this? Oh god. Anyway, carry on. Where are we? Who are we? What's going on?
Or that. Sorry to depart from the credits again. Or the Christmas special one where they try and become Santa and. They just end up committing a home burglary.
We spent 3 hours in one house.
We've been here for an hour and a half, Brian. An hour and first of all, we're not even Santa anymore. This has been a home invasion. But an hour and a half.
Oh god.
But anyway, yeah, we're on Podomatic, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we have a YouTube channel, we're on Deezer, we're on Google Podcasts, we may or may not be on Amazon Podcasts, who fucking knows.
Yeah.
We have a PayPal donate button, we're on Patreon, and we would like to take this opportunity to thank our fantastic, beautiful, wonderful patrons, Chloe, Darius.
Yep. Thank you.
Sophie, Peter.
Thank you.
And Aditya. And
Thank
Richard.
you.
See, you thought I was going to stop at Aditya, didn't you? You fucks. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. We love you all.
Yes, we do. You make the podcast possible. It means the absolute world. Thank you very much for being part of our wonderful community.
Definitely. We also have merch. We sell mugs, we sell jumpers, we sell t-shirts, we sell tote bags, we sell stickers, we sell all manner of useless shit that you can buy on Teespring and Redbubble at any time, and we'll leave those links in the show notes.
Indeed we will. They'll be in the show notes or the description, or they'll be within arm's reach.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, we are partnered with a fantastic company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and their spokesman Lewis will now take the floor.
Head of PR, Lewis Brindley. Anyway, Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a company run by my wife. She crochets and she's really, really good at it. It's she's really getting back into it now. She's knitting like a sort of a shawly, crocheting, a sort of knitty, shawly, scarfy thing, and it's really good. She's incredibly good at it. The Instagram is chef's kiss beautiful. It's absolutely worth going and checking it out. The Instagram is at Number 12 Crochet Avenue. All words, no numbers, no abbreviations. Number 12 Crochet Avenue. Go and check it out.
Please do, definitely. Well, that has been us.
It has
doing
indeed.
Toy Story 1 and 2. And next week we will do 3 and 4, complete the set.
Indeed we will.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you there. Let's talk about Toy Story 3 and 4.
Yes, definitely.
Talk about Lotso, one of the greatest villains of all time.
Absolutely.
Talk about what's in Toy Story 4? How Bo Peep's arm is detachable and what the ramifications of that
Yeah,
are.
and how the animations don't look fucking terrifying anymore. Have you seen
we'll
have,
talk about
have you
how,
seen Andy in the first one? He looks like a fucking demon.
You know, Andy and all of his friends look the same.
Yeah.
They're computers. They couldn't like make 6 individual faces, so they would just copy and paste in Andy.
That's it. It's come a long way.
We'll also talk about Keanu Reeves and how he says kaboom a lot in Toy Story 4.
Definitely. So
Yep.
it should be good fun.
It should be. I'll see you there.
We'll be sure to find some dark undertones for that as well. But thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.